Beloved, welcome back to the shop. I wanted to address a question that I've been getting a lot lately. It's because that there are a lot of guys that are 18, 19 that are having to make or in the position of making one of the most important decisions of their life. And the question that keeps coming to me, and I don't know why I've become some sort of a de facto mentor online, but I don't know that I have a whole lot to offer to you other than I'm going through it right now with my son, Jack, which is 19 as well. And so I can tell you the decisions that we've made and how, well, it's not just our decision, how we have, I guess, tried to advise Jack as to this question. Should you go to college or should you go into the trades? Now, our family is kind of unique in that my wife is highly educated, undergraduate, advanced degrees. She has a very fancy education. Me personally, I was almost a high school dropout. Had I not bribed my assistant vice principal, with smoked salmon regularly because I was really into fishing, I don't know that I would have graduated. Not because I wasn't mentally able to do it. I was just not interested. I had a car when I was 16, and I was gone after that. I only did the very minimum to graduate. So when I'm advising my son, as someone who didn't go to college and was able to create a comfortable life for himself, just relying upon my own wits and my own cleverness and not upon connections and degrees, we come from very different backgrounds, Mrs. W. and myself. So in the situation with Jack, so why is he going to college rather than going into the trades? It's because he has a very specific thing that he wants to do. And he's known it for a long time. And to have access to this, and I'm not going to divulge this is his personal information. He has to have advanced degrees to do what he wants to do. So there really isn't any question. If you want to do this, which he's wanted to do, then you have to follow this course. Now, that's not typical, I think, for most guys. I know when I was 18, 19, the only thing I was interested in was having enough money for some beer on the weekend and gas in my car, and enough to take out maybe a girl, or maybe to go hunting or something, or fishing. That was, I couldn't see past the weekend. That was my only ambition. Jack's very different that way. He's always had kind of a clear-cut plan. So this is the advice that I would give to you, and understand that this is coming from someone who does not look upon higher education as the end-all, be-all. I think that a man, if he's driven and hardworking and clever, I think that you can do just as well, if not better, than someone who has a 4-year or an advanced degrees. Okay, so let's start with that. In this particular climate, I think college is a scam. The student loan, how easy they make that, and the fact that you can never bankrupt it, and you'll have that millstone hanging around your neck for your entire life, is a big, big problem that is not, I think that 18 and 19-year-olds are not able to fully comprehend what a hindrance that is going to be to you. That is going to be, you are going to be a financial slave with that. Unless you enter into, as a doc or an attorney or an engineer, someone that has the ability to pull down $250,000 a year to put that student debt to rest, then you got to be careful with that. $40,000 a year, $40,000 a year, what most of these colleges that we're looking at cost $40,000 to $50,000 a year. So when we were crunching the numbers with Jack, this is what we offered. We said, look, we'll pay for half of it. We'll pay for half of it, and you're going to have to cover the other half, either 1, through scholarships, 2, through wildland firefighting in the summer. So we were very aggressive. Mrs. W helped him, and we worked together and got him set up with scholarships. So if he follows the plan, he'll be able to graduate in 6 years with what he wants to do with no student loan, no debt. If he follows the plan, it's completely possible from what we're going to contribute to the scholarships, and then him putting in the rest and working. He'll have to work through school. This is not playtime that I'm going to be financing to have a dandy boy out somewhere living his best life on my dime. I want to support our children, but also he's going to have to earn it. Because if you don't earn it, you don't appreciate it. It's just the simple fact of life. So for most guys, I guess I'll close with this. This is a bit rambly. I'm just kind of talking as I'm thinking. The advice that I would give to you right now if you want to be a dock professional, then you have to go that route. There's no other. But if you don't really know and you're not sure, I would look into some of the skilled trades. I really would. If you can get into electrical work, electrician, as I've said, lineman, engineering, there's going to be a lot of guys that will jump in the comments that have found success in some of these trades. I don't know, could be welding, things I don't understand. I think that more now than ever in our lifetime, there's going to be a lot of demand for these jobs. I'm already hearing guys are making easy, starting at 30 bucks an hour, you know, and journeymen are making 40, 50, $60 an hour. You know, that's real money. And that's the money that's going to be required if you want to buy a house, have a family, and attract a tradcon. You're going to have these things in place. It's just a simple fact of the society that we live in. So I would, I guess to close, before I would just automatically default to college, I would take a hard look at this. And if you don't know what you're going to do, go in there and do that. There's nothing to say that you can't go back and get those degrees. But I'll tell you, as someone who's been through it, at 18, 19, you really embrace the freedom and the liberties that you have right now. The world is your oyster. You can do anything. You're not hindered. You're not tied down by family, obligations, mortgages, jobs, careers. You can take these chances. So don't worry about it too much. Go and get enrolled in a community college and get your electrician's certificate. You could probably have that in a couple years. You could come out a journeyman. Now you have a viable trade that you can fall back on. Goodness, I mean, the demand for truck drivers, if you just had a CDL, if you just went just minimum, just had a CDL, that's going to put you in a very powerful position to at least anywhere in the country to make a living. I'm not saying you have to marry yourself to truck driving or electrical work, but if you can, when you have the freedom and the time, if you can go grind, just go soldier mode and get that electrical certificate, get some sort of a certificate that allows you to practice a particular trade that is skilled. Goodness, man, how valuable would that be? And let's say you don't like it. You got 3 years into it. What's 3 years? Now you've got an electrical certificate, you're a journeyman, you can go do whatever you want to. Now you can go to college, you can become an attorney, you can do whatever you want to, but there's always that fallback on that. I just don't see any downside. I would say for anybody, even someone in Jack's position, like what he did last year, he's a super senior. He had an extra year, so he'll be going into college much more mature. And him at 18 and 19 are just worlds apart, especially when he went out and worked a man's job in the summertime with wildland firefighting. When he came back from that, he was a different person. Physically, mentally, he was just grown up. He had become a man. So I think that that's very beneficial. There's no rush to go in. Don't rush to throw your money away at these big colleges when you don't know what you want to do. Use education. Use it, pick and choose what works for you. These degrees that were so important back in the day, they just don't have that much meaning anymore. The guys that are going to get ahead and succeed in the future are guys that are smart, clever, and can hustle. No one gives a damn about your advanced degrees or your degrees anymore, for the most part. Just go make your way, learn valuable trades, make yourself invaluable in that you have a particular skill that is in demand, and that's going to be any one of these trades. Machinists, these guys are aging out. When the boomers leave, there's going to be a huge deficit for these trades, and that's when the wages will go up, and you'll be in a position where you're perfectly placed to slide right into that and make a living wage, the living wage that blue-collar workers should be getting in and are well-deserved. Overdue, in my opinion. May God bless you and your families. Please keep us in your prayers. I had no idea we were going to talk about this. I was getting ready to do part 2 of the shelves, but I don't know, it just came up. It was on the top of my mind, and I thought we would talk about it a little bit. So hopefully that helps. May God bless you and your families. Please keep us in your prayers, and we'll see you all on the next video, and happy Sabbath.